The story of Prince Andrew, once one of the most prominent figures in the British royal family, has reached a haunting and irreversible climax. In what can only be described as a dramatic and historic reckoning, King Charles III has made a decision that will echo through the corridors of Windsor for generations. His brother, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, has been stripped of all his royal titles, his honors, and his status. The man once known as His Royal Highness the Duke of York has now been reduced, quite simply, to Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, a name that, while noble by blood, now carries no official recognition within the kingdom. Hours after the king's announcement, officials confirmed that Andrew's name had already been erased from the official roll of the peerage, the 185-page record that chronicles every peer of the realm, from the dukes of old to the modern aristocrats who still hold a place in Britain's ancient hierarchy. In that list, which once bore the proud lineage of His Royal Highness Prince Andrew, Duke of York, there is now only silence. For centuries, titles within the British monarchy were more than mere words. There were shields of honor, representing duty, sacrifice, and loyalty to crown and country. To strip a royal of such honors is to erase their public identity, to declare them no longer part of the living fabric of the monarchy. It is an act of profound gravity, one that even past scandals and betrayals within royal history rarely provoked. Yet King Charles, known for his cautious and often restrained leadership, decided that his brother's continued presence within the royal family's official ranks was untenable. The stain of scandal surrounding Andrew had grown too dark, too pervasive, too damaging to the image of the crown. In Buckingham Palace, where portraits of kings and queens stare silently from gilded frames, the announcement was received with a mixture of sadness and grim inevitability. It was, insiders say, a move long in the making, the final step in a gradual, painful process that began years ago when Andrew's name first became intertwined with that of the late convicted pedophile financier, Jeffrey Epstein. For much of his life, Prince Andrew was known as the Queen's favorite son. He was the dashing naval officer, the war hero of the Falklands, the confident royal who seemed untouchable. But as time wore on, a darker story began to unfold, one that would drag him from the splendor of royal banquets to the humiliation of public disgrace. His friendship with Epstein and the subsequent allegations from Virginia Giuffre, who claimed she was trafficked by Epstein and forced into sexual encounters with the Duke, shattered his reputation. Though Andrew has consistently denied all allegations and has never been criminally charged, the shadow cast by those claims has proven impossible to dispel. It was during that now infamous Newsnight interview in 2019 that the last remnants of public trust began to crumble. His tone-deaf responses, his insistence that he could not have been at a nightclub because he was at home after a Pizza Express party, his inability to express genuine empathy, all painted the picture of a man disconnected from reality and deaf to the moral expectations of a new generation. In the eyes of the British public, the once proud Duke became a symbol of privilege gone rotten, a relic of an outdated royal world that seemed incapable of accountability. Fast forward to this week, a moment that many within royal circles had long dreaded but quietly expected. At precisely 9 a.m. on Thursday, Buckingham Palace released a terse, almost cold statement. It confirmed that, with the approval of His Majesty the King, the titles and styles of His Royal Highness Prince Andrew, Duke of York, are hereby rescinded. The announcement hit the public like a thunderclap. Within hours, the roll of the peerage, the official registry of Britain's nobility, was updated. Andrew's name was gone. Not crossed out, not annotated, simply erased, as though centuries of royal lineage had suddenly evaporated into thin air. For Andrew, this means more than a symbolic fall. He is now stripped of all privileges associated with royal status. His days of official ceremonies, of standing on palace balconies beside his family, are over. His military affiliations, once worn with pride, have been rescinded. Even the right to use His Royal Highness, a style granted at birth, has been revoked. What remains is a man without a title, without a role, and increasingly, without a home. The question of his residence has become a source of national debate. Royal Lodge, his 30-room mansion nestled within Windsor Great Park, has long been his sanctuary. But revelations that he occupies it under what has been described as a peppercorn rent, essentially a token fee, have infuriated the British public. Critics argue that a man stripped of his titles and public duties has no right to continue living in taxpayer-subsidized luxury. Palace insiders suggest that the king's patience has worn thin. There are strong rumors that Andrew has been quietly asked to vacate the estate, a move that would symbolize the final cutting of royal ties. Even the government has weighed in on the matter. Trade Minister Sir Chris Bryant appeared on BBC Breakfast shortly after the news broke, stating with rare bluntness, I warmly support what the king is doing today. I think the vast majority of people in this country will think that it's the right thing to do. Bryant went further, suggesting that if American authorities were ever to summon Andrew for questioning in connection with Epstein's crimes, he should go, as any ordinary member of the public would. And that is, perhaps, the heart of it all. Andrew is now an ordinary man, no longer shielded by royal status, no longer above scrutiny or consequence. For those who remember the young Prince Andrew of the 1980s, smiling beside the Queen, adored by the public, hailed as a modern royal, this fall from grace feels almost Shakespearean. It is the story of a prince who had everything, honor, prestige, family, and legacy, and lost it all through his own arrogance and blindness. Behind the palace walls, sources describe a family torn between love and duty. Queen Camilla, ever pragmatic, reportedly supported the king's decision, emphasizing the need to protect the institution's integrity above all. Prince William, who has long advocated for a modern, scandal-free monarchy, is believed to have urged his father to act decisively. Princess Anne, though discreet, is said to have sided with the need for closure. And then there is Prince Harry, himself estranged from royal life, but for vastly different reasons. Observers have noted the irony that, while Harry voluntarily stepped back from royal duties and lost his Her Royal Highness style by choice, Andrew has been forcibly stripped of his by disgrace. For now, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor lives in the shadow of his former self, a man cut off from the royal heartbeat of Britain. No more balcony appearances, no more medals or processions, no more privilege. In Windsor, as night falls over the castle that once symbolized his family's unbroken continuity, the lights in Royal Lodge burn late into the night. Neighbors say he keeps mostly to himself now, rarely seen beyond the iron gates. The laughter that once echoed through those halls has long since faded.